Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Morgan and you are on my homestead here in Wyoming, and today we are going to be making some meals for us to freeze dry. So if you're new here, we do a lot of hunting and camping and fishing trips, and a lot of time is spent in the backcountry, especially during hunting season. And so it's important for us to have freeze-dried meals, and this is the first year that we actually have a freeze dryer and are making all of our own meals. So I want to get going on that because I do think it's going to take a little bit of time just to kind of figure out what we really like and what portion sizes and what works really well for the rehydrating process. So luckily we do have a lot of experience eating freeze-dried food because obviously we spend a lot of time in the backcountry, but those meals now are like $10 to $12 for the ones that are like a little bit more high quality and the ones that we really enjoy. And that is crazy. $12 for a decent meal is insane. So we are going to make some of our own, and this year I'm going to try and just kind of do it a little bit early since we're new to it. So today I'm going to try making our traditional elk chili that we really enjoy. We make this all the time. It's super simple. I also have leftovers from just kind of like a tomato pasta dish that we had made last week. I did record it, so I will link that video down below if you want to see how to make that. And then we really enjoy, one of the freeze-dried meals is like sweet pork, rice, and beans. And so I have elk barbacoa that we made together. I can link that video as well. So I'm going to use the elk barbacoa and make rice and beans with the elk barbacoa, and then I'm going to try to freeze dry all of those. So let's go ahead and get started making our meals. We need to make the rice for the barbacoa. The barbacoa is all made and I have it just sitting here defrosting from the freezer. We need to make our elk chili, and then that other meal is already done too. So let's go ahead and get going on those things, and then we'll try freeze drying them together. All right, first thing we need to do is just chop up an onion. I just have some small onions here, so I'm going to use this half of the onion that I already had in the fridge, and then we'll use this full onion. I'm just doing a pound of elk meat. I find that that's enough for us, and that should be more than enough for us to freeze dry. So for that, I'm just going to do like one large onion as the equivalent. And this can be a pretty rough chop because we're just gonna cook it and it's just gonna go in a chili, kind of get lost, but still give good flavor. So it doesn't need to be anything super pretty. All right, that's perfect. There's our rough chop. I'm gonna get this browning in the pan with our elk meat. Our oil's hot. So in goes our onions and our elk. We're just going to break this meat up nicely. And then we're just going to let this brown. All right, while our meat and onions are browning, I'm gonna get our rice started for our barbacoa black bean rice bowls. So I am gonna do, let's do 2 cups of rice. I don't know how much we're gonna want, but I think that sounds good. And I just rinse my rice in here. So I'm gonna take this to the sink, rinse it until the water's no longer cloudy, and then we'll fill it up with water to cook. And then I like to add just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, and we're gonna set this rice cooker. Okay, you can see down here our meat is browning, which is exactly what we want. So for just a couple more minutes, I'm gonna let this brown and cook, but I am going to brown our seasonings onto it. So I'm gonna do a good amount of chili powder, along with salt and pepper. And when you toast the herbs, or your seasonings, they just make the taste or the flavor a lot stronger. So we're just gonna give that a quick toast for like a minute. And here I have 2 cans of diced tomatoes. I would love if these were garden tomatoes, but we just didn't get that many last year. And we're going to use the juices of the tomatoes to help scrape up the pan. So let's mix that in. All right, and we're gonna need to do a transfer here because I don't think my brain was on when I started making this. There's no way all this chili is going to fit in this pan. So we're moving it over to our stock pot. Well, just a little pot. Here I just have kidney beans, pinto beans, both light and dark, that are all going in. And I didn't drain them, but I didn't not drain them. So what I do is I just take the can and I put it in a strainer, but I don't rinse it underneath the water. I just find that that kind of makes like a really good chili. Otherwise it tends to get like a little, I don't know, slimy. So I like to dump out the liquid but not rinse the beans, just to give them a little bit more liquids. And I also like to add in a little bit of corn. Finally, I'm gonna add in some tomato sauce. I like to rinse the can down with some beef broth. Give that a good stir. We'll just let this come together for a little bit. All right, here's how our chili is looking. And while this has been cooking, I've been giving it some thought. I feel like chili is not complete without like a poblano pepper or jalapenos or something in it. And we don't have any yet, but we do have pickled jalapenos. So I went downstairs and grabbed a jar of pickled jalapenos and then I just rinsed them off. So I'm gonna put a few of those in here too, just so that we can say our chili is complete because it has jalapenos in it. Normally we would put those on top, but since we're freeze drying it, we kind of have to incorporate them in. All right, so I grabbed a spoon. I'm gonna give this a taste test. Yum. I think it's perfect. I'm gonna let it just kind of cook together a little bit longer, let the flavors all come together now that the jalapenos are in there, and we're good to go. All right, I did go ahead and lay out our pasta dish to get it coming up to room temperature. We want to make sure that everything is about the same temperature when it's going into the freeze dryer. So I'm going for a room temperature on everything. Here's our rice. I'm just going to fluff it. Looks perfect. And I need it to cool down, but I don't know how much of this rice I'm going to need. So I'm just going to, I guess, dump it in this bowl. And then we'll just let this sit and cool down. This will just sit and cool down, get that to room temperature, get this warming up, and then we'll combine the beans and carne asada in here, and we're just letting the chili cool down right now. All right, so the rice has cooled down significantly, so I'm gonna add in some drained black beans. Give that a quick stir, just to kind of make sure we have enough rice in here. Yep, I think that looks great. Perfect. Now let's add in our barbacoa. I don't know if I want all the juice. When I packed this up, I put a lot of the cooking liquid in, and I'm not positive I'm gonna want all of it. I think I will, but I'm just gonna scoop the meat in like this. Actually, yeah, we're gonna want it. Okay. Now let's give that a stir. And I'm gonna dump in the rest of the liquid. It looks like we can use it. And I'm just breaking up any big pieces of meat because we want to keep everything pretty consistent in size, and we can't have anything taller than the edge of the trays. Okay, that looks awesome. I did run out to the garden and just pick some cilantro, so I'm just gonna rip this up and throw it in. So I feel like when you're in the backcountry, you always need a little extra green veg in your life. So if we can get that through cilantro, it's good enough for me. Okay, let's give that a mix. And then I am gonna give this a try. Everything's cold, so it'll be a little different, but I wanna make sure like it tastes good. Oh, that's wonderful. That barbacoa we made is so good. All right, I'm gonna get everything over here and we're gonna start serving it up. All right, first up, we're gonna go in with our barbacoa, beans and rice. Feels so weird just like putting it on this. Okay, there's that. We're gonna get this as flat as we can and as even. All right, that looks great. I'm gonna slide that one to the side. Next, we're gonna go in with our pasta dish that we had made together a couple of nights ago. So this is pasta, tomatoes, corn, elk, and some like Worcestershire sauce. Oops. I think we can get that all on there. That looks great, and now let's move on to chili. We're gonna load up one more tray of chili. All right, friends, our food is freeze dried, so I'm gonna go ahead and label these up. So again, we did our chili, our carne asada with rice and beans, and our like kind of chili mac. So,
and friends, let me clarify, for some reason I kept saying carne asada. It's definitely barbacoa that we made, and so just anytime I say carne asada, just know I really mean barbacoa moving forward.
So in my bags, I'm just writing carne asada with rice and black beans and then the date. And that way we always know what's in them, especially because these bags are not clear. Like we can't see through them. I want to make sure it's very obvious what's in here. Okay, there's our first few bags. I'm going to wash my hands. All right, so all we're going to do is just go ahead and I'm using about 1/4 of this tray. Oh, that was like perfect. And I'm just going to break it up a little bit and stick it in our labeled bag. Looks like that in the bag. Then I'm just going to add in an oxygen absorber. Oopsie. There we go. Stick that in there. I want to make sure it's visible. And then you can probably see here there's pull tabs. So I want to make sure I'm sealing this above the pull tabs. That way when we go to eat it, it's sealed here. We can use the breakaway tab and we can get this actually open. So all we do to seal it is just set this on fairly straight above the seal tab. push down. I have mine set to 7. You can see the light turns on, light is off. Lift it up. Just like that, we have it sealed. So literally that simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat this for the rest of our meals, and I will check back in with you when I know how many meals we have in total. All right, friends, here are our meals. We got 15 in total, and I am super, super excited about it. We've got that pasta, carne asada, and the chili. All right, friends, we are done. We got 15 freeze-dried meals in total. And what I'm super excited about is I always kind of struggle with the freeze-dried meals that you get from the store. Some of them are good, some of them don't taste that great, but beyond that, most of them are really high in salt, and it's foods that we wouldn't normally eat. So it tends to kind of mess with my belly a little bit because I'm eating things that I would never eat, and the salt levels are really, really high. And I'm mostly excited to just have these foods ready to go for hunting or any trips that we take, to make sure that we're getting home cooked meals in the quality that we're used to. And we also get to use some of our elk meat, which is super exciting. How cool is that? We'll be eating elk carne asada in the backcountry while hunting for elk. Like, I just think that is so cool. And what could make you want to get an elk more than sitting there on the side of the mountain eating it? So I will definitely be doing more freeze-dried meals. These were just kind of the base 3 to start with. I want to work on getting some breakfasts and then also just some like snacks put together as well. So I'm super excited to have these. Obviously we need a lot more than 15 meals, but if you do the math, I have my phone here to do the math because I'm not great at mental math. Each of them averages about $12, and we made 15 meals. So for Sam and I, that's enough for a week in the backcountry just feeding dinners. That's $180 worth of freeze-dried meals that we just put together right here off of food that we already had in the pantry, literally leftovers, and using the elk that we already had. So I think that's super cool, and I'm super excited about it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any other freeze-dried dinner or breakfast recipes, please let me know, and I will give them a try, and we will test them out in the backcountry. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's video and found it a little bit educational and fun. If you liked today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, friend.